to David Pogue, who this morning is putting our food safety system under the microscope.
In 1993, it was Jack-in-the-Box hamburgers. 4 people died.
Health officials expect to see more young victims.
In 1998, it was hot dogs. 14 people died. In 2006, it was bagged spinach.
E. coli linked to tainted spinach.
2008, peanuts. 2018, romaine lettuce. Last year, boar's head.
Boar's Head is recalling 9 types of deli meats.
Every year, some of the food that's supposed to keep us healthy winds up killing people. What's going on?
I mean, I hate to just keep saying it's complicated, but it's complicated. You know, what causes problems and what needs to be done to fix them.
Mike Taylor has spent his entire career trying to make food safer.
I've led the food safety programs at both FDA and USDA.
Can you give us some context for these food-borne illness outbreaks?
Well, it's this familiar litany of 3,000 deaths annually and 48 million illnesses. But it's just hard to measure and quantify.
15 federal agencies, plus state agencies, oversee our food system. The USDA regulates meat, poultry, eggs, and, weirdly, catfish. The FDA covers about everything else. In 2011, Mike Taylor helped pass the Food Safety Modernization Act, which tries to prevent outbreaks before they happen.
Congress and the administration simply haven't funded the implementation fully. But it was clearly a big step forward.
The bacteria that make us sick mostly come from beef, poultry, and produce.
It used to be, Jack-in-the-Box, that beef was something we worried about.
When that happened, we made a decision to simply declare that no longer would that particular kind of E. coli be lawful in ground beef. And that had a big effect because the meat industry collaborated among themselves, came up with technologies to really minimize that risk.
But when the USDA proposed a similar regulation for chicken, industry lobbyists said it would be too expensive.
The trade associations, the lobby showed up and essentially stonewalled the USDA going forward with this.
According to the USDA, 7% of all raw chicken parts and 27% of all ground chicken are contaminated with salmonella. And there's no law against shipping it that way. But now we come to the big one, produce. Almost half of all foodborne illnesses come from fruits and vegetables because, after all, we don't cook most of it before eating. The 2006 spinach outbreak was a wake-up call for the farming industry.
September of 2006, FDA said, do not eat spinach, right? And that literally affected every grower, provider of spinach in the country. So California said, we need to do something from a food safety standpoint.
And that's how the Leafy Greens Marketing Agreement was born, a coalition of farmers overseen by the California Department of Food and Agriculture who've agreed to adopt food safety protocols sooner and more stringent than the government's. 94% of the nation's leafy greens are covered by this agreement. Tim York is the CEO.
It sounds like these farmers are, in essence, saying, hey, let's impose rules on ourselves.
That's exactly right. Yes, which is kind of anathema to how they normally think, right?
Yeah.
We have to do it. You know, any kind of outbreak is detrimental to our industry.
Jack Vesey is a fourth-generation produce farmer. On the day we visited his 10,000-acre farm in Southern California, his team harvested nearly 500,000 cabbages.
I take this produce to my family every night. I give it to my friends.
So you can walk over here and just eat that without washing?
I do.
Can I?
Well, you don't have a hairnet. No.
Oh, man.
This is a little baby fresh one here.
Thank you, man. Tastes like safety. If I was a farmer 25 years ago and teleported here.
Well, if my dad was here today, he'd probably think, oh my gosh, what are you guys doing now? You know, the tissue sampling, the water testing, the treating of the water.
The LGMA rules require sanitizing the irrigation water, testing it at the source and at the spraying end. Hairnets and gloves, knife disinfectant.
For traceability's purposes, you guys...
And at least 6 times a year, inspections from state auditors like Nancy Howdige.
We're checking for any kind of environmental risks. In addition to that, there's an interview portion where I'm interviewing several crew members.
Vessey's farm even holds mock food outbreak drills twice a year.
Our food safety manager will call our office and say, recall this field, this block, I need answers. And I can tell you who was in there, what fertilizer company, what seed company, what crew was in there, everything within 30 minutes. Because stopping a truck or bringing that product back and recalling as quick as possible is very important.
All right, so despite all of this, outbreaks still happen. So why are they still happening?
Outbreaks may occur because we are growing product outdoors. You know, some bacteria just occur naturally within an environment. They just exist. And so we control as much of the ecosystem as we can.
Of course, you can't control every variable outdoors.
Before they walk into this field to start harvesting this cabbage, what they'll do is walk around the field and look. If there's bird dropping, they would remove this entire block from production or harvest, because that's a potential risk.
And so, as 2025 dawned, that's where things stood. Beef contamination largely under control, chicken still no law against salmonella, produce farmers controlling the parts of the process they can control. And then this happened.
Tonight, federal cuts are prompting a warning about food safety.
Everywhere you look, the ability of the agency to do this fundamental job will be impaired.
The Trump administration has fired 3,500 people from the FDA, saying that it's eliminating waste. Hundreds of them worked in the Food Safety Division, whose director resigned in protest.
Bad stuff will happen, whether it's the inability to promptly investigate an outbreak, the inability to oversee imports in a way that keeps foreign products that are making people sick.
There are people who say, oh my God, you people, what can I eat that's safe anymore?
I mean, you know, it's 3,000 deaths. Every one is a huge tragedy for a family and for the victim. You know, but think of how many eating occasions there are in a day. People are eating all the time, all year round, all those eating occasions. It's extremely low risk that you're going to get sick. And you got to eat.